Yo, it's your man King Castro X coming at you live and direct with Comic Con's podcast. It's so weird without the headphones, right?
Oh, yeah. It's a different ballgame.
You don't know how loud you are, really.
Yeah, I feel like, should I be close? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Comic Con's podcast, man, issue number
8.
Issue number 8. We in the building.
Yeah, 8.
I think we're 8 right now, currently.
I be trying to count, man.
I don't know whatever. It's issue number 8, ladies and gentlemen. Today is issue number 8. If it's issue number 7, that's fine. We're gonna make this issue number 8. It doesn't matter. I got my co-host in the building with me.
Young Master Juwlz. Like, I think we're gonna stick with that.
Trudy,
with
Young
that
Master
one.
Juwlz.
Yeah,
he was dubbed that nickname episode or 2 ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
That's a
pretty
good
fire.
Thank you.
I like it. It gives me like Master Splinter vibes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Young Master Juwlz is pretty fire. We got some very special guests in the building with us today, ladies and gentlemen. I've met these gentlemen maybe about a year ago. The first time I ever saw them, shout out to my wife Jo Miller, stand-up comedian. It was at the Starlight Theater. My wife was on the show, man, and that's where I first ran into Mr. Hilton Price here. You know what I'm saying? As well as Michael Zampino. You guys may know him from the stand-up comedy scene or the podcast Opinions Like Assholes. They do a podcast themselves.
Technically a-holes. We use the hyphen
got a
because...
family-friendly title.
You got to be appropriate. You know what I
But
mean?
we know
Like,
what it means. We know
we
what
all
it
know.
means.
Right. So y'all may know him from there, man. Welcome to the show. How y'all
Thank you.
doing?
Nice. Glad to
Good.
be here. Glad to be
Yeah,
here.
this is rad. This is fun.
Appreciate
I love,
it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank
love
you.
doing a show and learning that Evanescence has their own comic book. I did not know
What?
that. That's right there.
I'm a big Amy Lee fan. I'm gonna kick that now. Do you know Evanescence?
No.
I didn't think you did. Fucking.
Well, here's the
what is
thing,
it?
though. I did pass by and I just saw the title, so it could be a coincidence.
I think
It's
Amy
just
Lee deserves
a
her
comic
own
book
comic.
called
Like Google that.
Evanescence.
I think Amy deserves her own book. You've never heard the song "I'm Broken"? You know, I think that's with Seether.
Wake me up.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Yeah, that's the one everybody
Okay.
knows.
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like her music would be dope on a superhero film, though. Like I feel like it
Have they not done
They
that?
did.
To-
They
I was
did.
gonna say
But
Spider-Man,
it was
right?
not. It was not a superhero film you want to watch.
Oh,
What
no.
was it?
Evanescence: Bring Me to Life was in the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie.
That's right.
Going way back.
I feel like Ben Affleck gives Evanescence vibes as a man, though. Like I can see. I'm just being.
I
can
bet
see
he
him.
had wears a lot of eyeliner phase
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm a big Affleck fan, though. Almost borderline.
good.
Like that's my man right there.
Yeah,
like,
he's cool, man.
Him, Idris Elba, like they can both get the business whenever they want it. You know what I'm saying?
Man, he got a lot of grief when he was cast, but I like Affleck as Batman. I thought he was fine.
So I will say, did you see the film?
Which
Batman vs Superman.
one? No.
Okay, that's all right.
Did you see Justice
I
League
did.
though?
I tried.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was the one.
Did you like? I didn't like it. I didn't like the Justice League film.
I hated it. Here's my deal.
Okay, cool.
I got about 20 minutes in, and I tend to get hung up on dialogue, right? And I'm like, humans don't talk to each other this
Right.
way. And I had to turn it off. Like, when dialogue starts to just become so nonsensical and just exposition dumps, and like, it takes me out.
So I'm also a very big dialogue fan. Hence why I love Kevin Smith.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? His movies are dialogue. It's all in Tarantino as well.
Absolutely.
Huge Tarantino guy. But
Language.
superhero dialogue doesn't bother me as much. Ben Affleck is personally my favorite Batman. He has the best suit. It's based off of my favorite run of Batman, The Dark Knight Returns. Best Batman. He's fucking old, out of retirement, and hates life, hates youngsters, and hates Superman. Nothing better than that. You know what I'm saying? But I liked it. I liked that and Justice League, the movie. I'm a sucker for anything superhero.
The Snyder cut?
The Snyder cut was dope. That's the
long
The long one on
Oh
HBO
yeah,
Max,
I fucking,
yeah.
my wife passed out. I laid right there.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's
You
the
know
one,
what I mean?
like, that's a third of your day.
Yeah, it was. I took like 4 different days to watch that, and there was a lot of good stuff there. But it was one of those things like the short Josh Whedon version wasn't right. I don't feel like the long one was right, but somewhere in between there was like just the right.
There's
Justice
some
League.
moments that are
Oh, hell yeah.
worth
Hell
having.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As a film, as a superhero film, there are some golden moments. There's some low moments too, though, where it's just like, why am I watching this? This is boring as hell. I don't care about Clark Kent getting in the tub with Lois Lane, even though that was hot, and like Clark Kent could get in the tub with me, that'd be incredible. Do you know? My boy looking at me crazy.
I forgive a lot about, when it comes to like dialogue in superhero movies, because it almost has to be bad to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But no, I was just gonna say that one was like bad.
Yeah. That's why I can't watch indie movies because they just be saying the most off the wall things to each other. And I'm just like, I can't do it.
See, honestly, I'm a huge indie film fan, B movie fan as well. Like I love corny. I'm a sucker for corny dialogue when it comes to like action films or anything like that. Like your ass is grass and I'm the lawnmower. I've quoted that many times on the show already. I live for that fucking yippee ki yay motherfucker. Like that shit is everything to me.
Well, and there's something about like what we appreciate, what we think is cool versus what we think is corny. That could change over the course of our lives. You even see that in popular stories and comics, man. Like if you go back now and you read the original comic book Civil War, written by Mark Millar, one that inspired the movie. Back in the day, we were like, man, this is great. Now that is some hokey ass dialogue.
Yeah,
there's some cheese.
The one in the book itself.
Yeah, in the movie sometimes too.
Well,
but,
sure.
But there's some points in there that you just realize just how culture and like your own way of appreciating things has changed in the 10, 15 plus years.
Yeah.
Everything has changed. Like life, the world, the way we move on a day-to-day basis, the way we talk and things. So it only makes sense for, you know what I'm saying, shit to kind of phase out. You know what I mean? You brought up Civil War, though. I was watching it the other night. And to reference a point that didn't need to happen in the movie, but like it's corny, but I loved it, right? When Cap and Spidey are fighting, and he knocks Lil Bro out, and he's trying to hold the fucking whatever it is over his shoulders. I don't know what the hell it was, something heavy.
Yeah, some part of the airport.
But it's like,
Something heavy.
where you from, kid? And he's like, Brooklyn, or he's like fucking, what was it, Brooklyn, Queens, and he's like, oh yeah, Brooklyn. Just that heartfelt moment. It wasn't necessary, but like it was.
It's good.
It was good for me. You know what I mean? I needed that.
Those are the ones I like. I'll forgive that every time.
Yeah,
for sure.
We're supposed to feel good about these characters interacting. That's the fun of superheroes.
I agree.
Like I know we want movies that are realistic and that we can relate to, and that are weighted in some kind of rules of reality. But sometimes it's just fun to see wild shit happening.
I agree.
Do you think we can accomplish that with actual people rather than like cartoons? Because I feel like cartoons, we can have that type of interaction or that type of dialogue, and it's more sincere because it's voice actors and cartoons.
You're already forgiving a lot.
Yeah, and I feel like with just humans, I'm like you said, humans don't interact that way. I'm not gonna
like that.
Yeah,
I mean, but to be fair, like humans don't talk to each other like they do in Clerks either. But I love that shit.
Right. Clerks is very drawn out.
And it's a lot of like big synonyms for words that littler words that people normally use.
That's valid. That's valid. Really quick before we continue, though, I do want to talk about you guys' podcast just a little bit.
For sure.
We got to spotlight that a little bit. Tell us about the show. I've got to listen to the show. It's hilarious. The episode I tuned into, I've been hashtagging it to you personally for a little bit. Gaping for God. That was hilarious. Tell us a little bit about y'all show. How y'all got started, man?
Well, we started back in 2016. We, we're both into most things: pop culture, movies, music, TV. Video games, comic books, what have you. And, we just decided we love talking about it, but we don't know about all of it. And that's almost sort of one of the endearing parts of our show is that we're tackling subjects that we might not know about, but we're going to talk about it anyway.
Yeah, just like you do. Just like when you're sitting around with your buddies, something comes up. You don't have to be an expert at it, but you've got some opinions. You've picked up stuff along the way, and maybe while you're talking, you'll learn something about it, or you correct it, or you Google something, and you go, "Oh, this is actually that way." And that's kind of what happens on our show.
Yeah, we usually start by we'll watch a couple trailers before we start and talk about whether we think the movie looks good, whether we want to see it or not. Kind of dunk on it if it looks bad, those kind of things.
I love listening to you guys talk about the Fast movies.
Oh man,
I am not a fan of the Fast. I feel like, dude, they've been fucking overdone. I like number 1 and 2. Number 1 and 2 had some okay story.
Good little racing crime movie.
Yeah, that's what it was about. And then
they saved the world.
Here's the thing: if you can go back and tell yourself, I'm watching a comedy, then you can have a good time.
But you guys said it in the show. It's great to just throw on. Turn off for the day. And then I feel like as people every day, not just geeks, not just fucking nerds, whatever, like escapism is beautiful.
Turn your brain off.
I couldn't hate on the Fast movies. Like at first I did. I kind of thought I was better than that. But
I mean, I still will, but
well, and I thought about this.
I enjoy it because it upsets a lot of people, so I love hating.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Shit. Opinions like a-holes, right?
But once I realized I'm going to the movies for only for spectacle anyway. I'm going to see Doctor Strange and Captain America and Iron Man. So what do I have against superhero Vin Diesel? Diesel. It's the same shit.
If you're going to the theater, you're going for something a little bit more than like a My Dinner with Andre.
Yeah,
you're not.
I was thinking about that was that old black and white movie, and while I would like 10, 15 years ago called Good Night and Good Luck. It was about Edward R. Murrow reading the news.
I remember that.
And I'm even a journalist, and I love the history of news and stuff. I think the free press is exciting and interesting.
I can so see you being a journalist. You fit that archetype perfect.
But I ain't going to the movies to see a black and white movie about a newscaster.
Right. Yeah, no, you watch
the
that.
movie, there's an explosion.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree. The movies also, for me personally, I don't know about you guys. I don't know how you feel about this. My wife makes fun of me about it all the time. The movies, for me, going to the movies is a sacred place, right? It's different than watching at your home. You get something special from watching movies at your home. Don't get me wrong, but going to the movies, I remember going to the movies as a little kid, getting the popcorn. I don't know why you're laughing at me. Getting the fucking, getting some
get
candy.
Stuff at home that you can't get at the...
Back when it was cheaper, you know what I'm saying? It's super pricey now, but going to the movies is a whole entire experience. Going into that room with a bunch of people you don't know, fucking crying over the same film or whatever. I cry to a lot of movies, man.
Hell yeah.
Weenie, bro. So I love going to the theater. Are you guys
Never be ashamed of crying at a movie.
I
It makes
cry
you
at
feel
everything
feelings.
when it
Feel
comes
your
to movies.
feelings.
Yeah.
Yes, feel your feelings.
That's why here, not just outside of Tulsa in Broken Arrow, we got that the Regal Theater or whatever, and it's just designed to look like the classic 1950s theater.
Yeah, that very deco,
It's
like
fun because
20s almost.
you walk in and it's so big and there's all this fancy painting or whatever. It's like it feels like spectacle, and I love going there to that. And just it's a 10-minute drive, so it's like I feel like I'm going somewhere. I'm going to the movies, and I walk in. Oh, I'm here to see a movie. I got some snacks stuck in my jacket, and I'm going to eat them during the movie. You know?
Right.
And that I know exactly what you're talking about, and that's the fun for me, and especially now because I'm a big Marvel MCU fan. So like whenever the new one comes out, I'm just like, all right, we're going to do it again, man. Go get some Reese's Pieces. I'm going to go in the theater, and you almost feel like a kid.
100%, man. And that's what it is. And that's what it is with all of this stuff for me. Not just going to the movies, but collecting fucking toys. I'm 28 years old. I have a wife. Luckily, she still lets me have sex with her. You know what I mean? But like, it brings back a sense of something that was simple, where now in life I have to worry about bills. I have to worry about a job. I have to worry about all this silliness. You know, this shit that sucks. But like, I got this little plastic piece of, I hate describing it like this, but this plastic piece of joy. Like,
I got over 150 Funko Pops. I feel you.
Nice. So a Funko collector.
Yep.
See, that's what's up. That's what's up. I did not know that. That's what I'm saying, though. Those things from your childhood, man. You get to go back and fucking... I watched... it's a current version, but I started He-Man the other day.
Cool.
Kevin Smith
Was it
produced
the Revelations?
Yes.
Yeah.
Started it up, got to watch episode 1, and I didn't get to watch He-Man as a kid. It
Okay.
was a little bit after me.
Yeah.
Or before me.
That
I
makes
mean.
sense.
So I missed it. You know what I mean? Did you
The
guys
original.
watch?
Yeah,
up
that
on it.
was.
Oh, yeah.
that
That
was
was
our
the jam.
generation.
Yeah.
So
We are not 40s.
And then I remember I fell out of it. Like that was not one that a lot of things I came back to later. Like Ninja Turtles is one that I read
Nice.
growing up, and then later as an adult.
You're still reading Ninja Turtles?
I do. That
currently,
IDW
right?
series is so good.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
whenever like I stick to a lot of Marvel and DC. I love superhero comics, but if I was going down to one monthly book,
It'd be the Turtles?
If that had to be like a superhero kind of thing, it'd be the Turtles for
That's
sure.
a hell of an
Yeah.
endorsement right
That-
there.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting into the Turtles, man. I got Turtles and Batman, and then Turtles and Power Rangers.
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
When we first started this podcast, we were trying to come up with like, what book are we going to review? What are we going to? Now it's like 4 or 5 books, and a lot of them don't even go together. We're just reading whatever and talking about it. But it was supposed to be the Turtles, man. But I ended up not. He wanted to do Turtles, I think, in Power Rangers, was it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I fuck with the Turtles. So as far as reading them, though, I've recently picked up some of the most recent issues, and they're cool. I want to read back in the day Turtles, Dave Eastman, and you know what I'm saying? I forgot the
Yeah, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird.
Kevin Eastman, yes, sir.
Originally on Mirage.
Yeah.
Oh, you pointed out that they did like a little layered Easter egg in the new.
In the trailer
Yeah, for the new-
Mutant Mayhem. You guys seen that trailer?
new
I've
Seth
seen the trailer.
Rogen, yeah.
Seth Rogen joint. Yeah.
There's like a
Looks
what was
really
it, a
good.
billboard?
There's a billboard that says Laird on it in tribute to Peter Laird.
That's tough. I like the old movies. I grew up to the movies. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I didn't read their books.
Oh yeah, I saw those in the theater.
Did you?
Yeah.
What was that like? So I caught them on VHS with my mom.
My favorite memory, and I don't know why this is so etched in my brain, but the first Ninja Turtles movie. I'm in there with my grandma, God rest her soul, and there's a pretty good amount of people, but there's some spaces, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's this lady that came by herself, and was more excited for this movie than anybody else in the theater. And it was so fun to watch her watch this movie. She's jumping up and she's clapping and and I was just like, this is amazing. And this lady was like in her 60s conservatively. And it was, and I will never forget it. I was just like, this lady fucking loves the Ninja Turtles.
I wonder what lured her there. Like, what was
I don't know, because I kept thinking like,
family connection, or did she just love? Was she an art fan that got into comics late?
I don't know. Maybe she was like, we're all going to see the Ninja Turtles movie together, and then she showed up late and didn't find everybody. She's like, I'm just
grandkids didn't
sitting
even
in the
show up.
back.
They bailed on her.
Right?
It was like the one moment like, I get to see my son again, because we're assholes and we don't call our moms back when we should.
They're all embarrassed. They're like, why is Grandma so into the Ninja Turtles?
Right? That's hilarious. So the comics came out first when it comes to turtles. I'm considering you the turtle historian right now.
Ooh, all
the
right.
comics came out first, right?
Of the four of us.
Yeah. Back comics started in the 80s, right around the mid 80s.
And
Originally
then
on Mirage.
Figures.
Then they did the TV show and the figures right around the same time.
So was this a cartoon?
Yeah, the original 1989 cartoon.
Oh,
Yeah.
you don't know about
No. What was this like?
That's
That
the one
theme
that brought
song-
it into most homes. That's the one where it
The
really
theme song is
pushed
a
it
banger.
across.
Is
Oh
it?
yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage
Okay, I have heard this. That's fire. That's
Heroes
fire.
that I
Yeah.
felt about.
If you're playing the new
thought that was-
Surviving teens.
That's a banger.
My daughter loves that song. She'll get in the car. Can we play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
well, and that's the opening theme. If you got by the Cowabunga collection, which is that new game that's got all the old arcade games, and Super Nintendo games, got like 30 games on it. That when you start the game, that
That's
song
what
plays.
plays?
Yeah, they know how to hit that nostalgia.
Yeah,
button.
they do.
I think my favorite track that I've heard, turtle related though. Shout
Yeah.
out to my man Vanilla Ice. You know
Rob
what I'm
Van
saying?
Winkle?
Yeah.
It's that go ninja, go ninja, go ninja. I play VR chat. I don't know if you guys know what VR chat is.
No, I don't know
It's
that.
a fucking virtual like chat video game. You get to get an avatar and then you go into these different worlds and fucking talk to people about weird shit. I love it. As a podcaster, it's my game. That's
sounds
what I
wild.
do.
Yeah.
Just go ask weird questions, no consequences. Like I'm in there like swimwear. You know what I mean? But I got a Ninja Turtle avatar and I'll go in there and I'll fucking turn that song on my PC and I'll just be in there, go ninja, go ninja, go ninja, just trying to be
There
respectable.
was a funny interview with Vanilla Ice after that movie came out, and they were talking about like, him making the song or whatever, and he's like, yeah, man, it was really dope. They like brought me in and like I read the script, and then I showed up and it was all there. And it's like, oh, the stuff in the script they made
That they
it.
gave you that you already knew.
They made it. Like that's how movies work, Rob.
So the comics came out, you said. The figures, then an animated series. Was the movies after that?
Yeah, the movies came on the heels of
89?
the 90 was the
Was
first
the first
movie.
one?
Yeah.
Okay.
89 was the first cartoon. 90 was the first movie. I mean,
It was
it
like-
exploded
it was like
so fast, and
Brilliant.
whoever's making those backdoor deals, they were working quick.
So then you guys not to age you, Jim.
No, you're fine.
No worries, 43.
But
I own it. I'm
Yeah,
okay
for
with
sure. I'm a cool 41.
You guys got to see the cool shit happen though. Not only in Turtles, but music as well. You guys had the fucking music. But let me concentrate on the nerdy stuff too, real quick, and then we can get.
You're
to
all
that.
right.
But you guys not only got to see the Turtles, then you got to see G.I. Joe and things like that as well come to be, right?
There's like
Fraggle Rock.
it's a
Frag-
two-sided thing. Like I remember growing up with all that stuff as toys, but you think about how ubiquitous nerd stuff is in our culture now. Like who's on your lanyard?
Tokyo Ghoul is an anime.
Right? Yeah. You weren't going to find stuff like a key holder
yeah.
based on an anime property being sold in an American store
Yeah, not in the
30
90s.
years
That's
ago.
crazy.
Like I'm rocking my Captain Marvel t-shirt because I got a story about this store with Captain Marvel. And I love Carol so much. And that character wearing a t-shirt with this kind of B or C level superhero on it, that ain't going to happen 30 years ago. Like, there's certain things that kind of suck about, like, that you missed out on it, but there's certain things that, like, we're living in kind of like a golden time for that.
That's what I'm
Well,
hearing.
we get more and more nostalgic as every generation. We're just
And I mean, there's kind of a grossness to it the way it's capitalized on, but it also means that I'm going to leave with a new Scarlet Witch Funko Pop from the office, and that's kind of cool.
That's the cool thing. Everywhere you go now,
Yeah.
there's superhero shit or anything nerdy. Like, you can go get a figure, you can go get a fucking book. Like, it's popular to be the nerd now.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Oh, when I was a kid, I was super nerdy into action figures. Action figures was I was almost more into action figures than I was like the shows and stuff. I was always, because I was an only child, there was not a lot of kids in my neighborhood, so I entertained myself a lot. So it's just me and all my action figures in my little WWF wrestling ring.
Nice.
Yep.
I'm
Still
a big
got a
wrestling
scar
nerd.
from where I fell on the turnbuckle of that bastard.
They always used to pop off too.
Yeah.
The turnbuckles.
It didn't that time. It held sturdy and it like tried to pierce through my kneecap.
Me and Jules were talking the other day, and I don't know if you guys experienced this. We were talking about Comic-Con, right? And the beginning of Comic-Con was in a bunch of guys' basements. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't cool.
Was it really?
It was. It started in fucking
didn't know
basements. It
that.
was hidden like cult shit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It was
yeah.
fucking
I
metal.
mean, it
you know
makes
what I mean?
sense.
People they weren't openly nerdy. You know what
couldn't
I'm saying?
be.
They
It
had to have a
wasn't cool
revolution.
then.
and no one was going to rent you space for that kind of nonsense.
Right.
You know.
Versus now, it's one of the biggest things in the world.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
people pay money to go to these things. Now, so did you guys get to experience like the like, you're not cool to be a nerd? Like,
Oh
fuck you,
yeah.
like,
Oh man. Because here's my thing too. I grew up and I was in marching band. I was in marching band. I was like into action figures. I was, I was into Weird Al. Like,
nice.
Yeah.
My wife's a big outfit.
I heard the F word quite a bit growing up. They were real loosey goosey with that one back then.
My wife showed me a video of Weird Al. This is off topic, but a video of Weird Al the other day where he's in a fat suit. I don't know if you guys
For the
have seen
movie,
it.
or for the video.
Yeah,
Fat.
for Fat,
Fat.
on the
Yeah,
album Even
yeah.
Worse.
Yeah. Anyway, I had never seen that shit.
Oh, yeah.
I don't listen to Weird Al often. I know his song "Amish Paradise." That's
a
about
great
the
one.
extension.
That's a funny one too, because back in the day, Coolio was real upset about that.
Was he?
Yeah, he was big mad about it.
He just, because he was trying to make a point with his song, and he thought it kind of undermined that and made it kind of hokey. And later he came around and was like, no, it's cool. So
Right.
Yeah, he did. He ended up being pretty chill about it. But yeah, at first he was like, "I'm trying to be taken seriously, Al. Why you gotta make it weird?"
Yeah, I saw a comment. And it was like the Amish will never hear this song.
I feel like that's the same for like.
Well, if they did, they made a mistake. They're
Right?
in
you're
trouble.
in the wrong place.
I don't know. Getting upset at stuff like that is silly to me. Like,
It really
it's the
is.
same as like, man, I would love to have me be on South Park. Make fun of me on South Park. Please make me a bit on South Park.
hell
Shout out
yeah.
to Kanye, the fish sticks bit. You know, like
Copper Cab.
It'd be,
You know about Copper Cab? That was the Gingers Have Souls kid that they made fun of on South Park.
I don't remember.
This little kid made a video in his driveway about being made fun of for being a ginger, and it somehow got to South Park. And they made fun of that kid, and then it went huge.
Yeah, and that's it. If they're making fun of you, you're being seen.
You
Yeah.
are.
You've clearly
and you're a
made
part
it.
of history now. Like, South Park is to me, the best adult animated show of all time. For me,
Yeah, it's up
that's
there, man.
my opinion.
Imitation is the most sincere form of flattery.
It's such a good show. It's done. It's my favorite. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you make it on South Park, you're fucking.
Oh, yeah.
You're that guy. You know you're doing big things. But
Man,
anyway,
before we wrap up but since we were talking about Turtles earlier, I was going to just point people in the right direction. So the current series started around late 2011, 2012. If you look, there's going to be 2 volume 1s put out by IDW.
Okay.
The first one around 2012 or so. Next one's going to be around like 2017, 2018 when they launched a new number 1 right around, not a new number 1, but on the collections, it's a new number 1, but right around issue 100. The book's at 140 some odd issues. I highly recommend going back and getting the early volumes for anyone
so
getting to get
is
in
this
there.
the beginning of the Turtles?
The IDW
collected?
series that started in 2012 is definitely different from the stuff that came out from Mirage in the 80s and from whoever published the Brief 90s series. It slips my mind right now. But unless you're just going back to check out the original stuff for the sake of checking it out, if you want a cohesive, fun, interesting story that you can still stay on board with today, just read the IDW book.
Do they start with an origin story?
They start with an origin story.
Nice.
It's slightly tweaked. And here's the thing. We talked about the original comics. We talked about the cartoon. We talked about the 1990 movie. All of those kind of had their own unique versions of the story. I'll try and give a very simplified version. In the movie, Splinter is the pet of Hamato Yoshi. Whereas in the cartoon, Splinter was Hamato Yoshi turned into a rat. So there were 2 different
remember
versions.
that,
The
yeah.
IDW series went its own way that kind of incorporates a little bit of everything. And I won't spoil it because it's interesting to actually read it. But they found a way to kind of take all the disparate storylines and kind of turn them into one cohesive thing.
The man was somebody's man pet, and then he got turned into Splinter.
Is there one you like over
I'm
the
not
other?
far off, am I?
That I like.
Yeah.
His
I know,
reaction
you
made me
like
feel like I
the
nailed
turning
it.
into Splinter or the pet?
When I was a kid, I thought it was hokey that a little actual rat was training ninjutsu. So
Yeah.
I liked the man turned into the rat.
That makes sense.
Man rat.
That was more believable to me than a rat.
Right.
So you
Fair.
said this is the IDW
In a weird way,
collection.
that's
Yeah. You read any of the TMNT Ultimate collections, or just find the original Volume 1 of the book. I don't remember what it was called, but
Yeah.
you can probably get them all right here.
no, dude, looking around this store.
At Impulse
Speaking
Creations,
of that, yeah,
where you can get 30% off all pre-orders and subscriptions.
Shorty, and we got a new special going on. Shout out Impulse Creations, y'all. I've fucking been over here just listening to you guys. I forgot I had a job to do. They do got a special going on right now today, kids. 30% back issue sale, online only, ladies and gentlemen. Over 4,000 different books. You'd have to check the social media for the link, and that's just Impulse Creations on Instagram as well as on Facebook. Go check it out. I don't know if they got a Twitter. You guys got a Twitter, brother?
Yes, we have Twitter.
They got a Twitter. Shout out to my man at the counter. You know what I'm saying? He in the building. Come see him. He'll take care of you. You have to use the code SECRETDEAL at checkout. It only works for this sale, the back issue sale, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go try to sneak some books that aren't on the back issue sale. You know what I mean? And the sale runs through the end of March. That's over 4,000 books. Impulse Creations, 30% back issue sale, ladies and gentlemen. Tap in. It's going to be a great time. Get it while it lasts, or whatever. Yeah.
So I got to talk about this store.
Use
man.
that
Let's
for
talk
some
about
back
market
issue
store.
TMNTs.
Yeah,
you
there
could,
is
yeah.
there is a volume over there where all the turtles have red bandanas.
Yeah.
Isn't that how they first
Yeah,
started?
that
Yeah.
was how they first started, and because of that, in the first couple issues of the IDW series, they're wearing red bandanas, and it's actually part of the storyline how they graduate to the different
Okay.
colors.
Yeah, it's when they
Yeah.
put them on
It's
TV
really
and
cool.
they go, the general public's too dumb for them all to have the same color.
Like
I'm very much dumb for
Hey,
them to have
I'm
the same
grateful.
color.
I'm grateful.
well, when it was all black and white, it didn't matter, and that
True.
Mirage series was all black and white. So,
Really?
Were the
yeah.
first figures just
I didn't
all
know
red?
that either.
No, because that was after the cartoon came
Okay,
out, and that was
okay.
with the
I'm
multicolored.
loving this fucking history I'm getting.
Hell yeah.
I'm glad that it's something that I know about because we did a little mini episode of our show since we didn't record today like we normally do.
Okay, nice.
And we were talking a little bit about some of the stuff we thought we'd get into, talking about comics. And he's asking me questions about like Supergirl and Superboy and their history. And if you don't know, that is some of the most confusing of DC's history. So I was like saying something and like midway through a sentence, I'm like, wait, that's not even entirely right. You got to go even further back.
And meanwhile, I'm just like, so wait a minute. Everybody has super at the beginning of their name. That's going to be real complicated after a while.
Did you hear that new project with Supergirl? They're making her origin story. It's going to be on Krypton.
Yeah, you're talking about the one that's part of the new DC movie
Yeah.
lineup?
Gunn?
Yeah.
We talked about it previously, but they said it's going to be a darker version of that type of story, which is pretty dope.
So is the new Supergirl they're using though the girl that's in the Flash film?
I'm not sure.
Have you seen her black hair? She
No.
looks fucking badass. I
Yeah.
don't want blonde haired
Supergirl fire.
Supergirl anymore.
I don't think so. Because I think she's supposed to be like Superwoman, like the Superman of that world. But whereas I think the Supergirl project in the works with James Gunn is an actual Kara Zor-El cousin of
Okay.
Kal-El Superman.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna name my daughter, Kara Zor-El. My son's name is
Going.
Cash Emerson Kal-El Lewis.
Oh, nice.
Shout out to my young man. My real name, you know what I mean? My real last name, y'all just got it. Shh, don't tell anybody. Keep it low. So you said, I feel like we owe it to the store. We're here, pay homage to Impulse. You say you have a story here.
Yeah.
So this place, man, so Impulse Creations has been kind of an enigma for me for a couple years now because I've been reading comics in Tulsa for about 20 years, and I thought I knew everywhere. But for the longest time, I'd be Googling at work, maybe I could find a new comic shop, you know. And I'd see Impulse Creations, and there would be either no address or be some address, and I drive by and there's no sign, there's no store. So I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on, if it was like a money laundering scheme or what. But then one day, this must have been like 2020, I finally find an address, and it's right here near 61st Memorial in beautiful South Tulsa, where I don't know, Midtown Tulsa, whatever. But I come here, and at the
Next to the
time,
Hooters.
it was real thin.
And the
It was a
Bodega
little-
Boys. Shout out to
Yeah.
my boys at Bodega Boys over here.
But at the time, it was a little shotgun store, and it was a real cool store. They had
remember.
a big wall of back issues. I remember I picked up a great copy of Black Cat #1 with a variant cover that's still hanging up on my wall.
Nice.
And then whoever was running the counter, I was going in, and I'm a big fan of Captain Marvel, like I said. And right around then, the latest series written by Kelly Thompson had just started up, and I missed issue #1 or 2, one of the real early ones. And I came in here, and they had like one copy left. I managed to score it here. So my first time here, I got a book I was looking for. I got a cool variant cover that's still hanging. And then I walk in today, and it had been a minute since I'd been in here. You know how you got your comic shop, and man, I'm going to 100% tell everybody watching, you got to come to Impulse Creations. This place is something.
It's
to
really
see.
cool.
It's easily one of the best. It's easily the best looking comic shop in town. I'm
Agreed.
gonna throw down that gauntlet.
Yeah.
It is.
I've been
it
in
is-
some tough ones.
Right. But my shop, everyone's got their shop. My shop, I'm going to give them a shout out, is Comic Empire over near 31st.
So, I mean, that's
and
where it
Mingo.
all started for me.
Yeah.
So I get it.
It's a little shotgun. It's a back issue bin store if you're looking for,
And that's what it is, right? What I love most, not to cut you off, but to
No, no.
add on, Impulse to me has the best indie selection.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
They've got a
huge.
great selection on new stuff, and they have some back issues, as
Yeah.
well as they sell the figures. When it comes to Empire, if you're looking for back issues, that's where I go.
That's
You know,
a good spot to spend the afternoon digging.
Yes, if you want to dig, if you're a bin digger, like that's
Mm-hmm.
where I go. Shout out to Empire. There, like I said, they're the guys that started me.
Yep.
I remember Kenny, who owns the shop now.
Yeah.
Michael used to own it,
Uh-huh.
but Kenny actually gave me my first big box. I was going in there almost every week, buying a new issue, and he was like, "Here, kid, I'm gonna start you off," and like just gave me a full box for free. Shout out to Kenny.
Damn. Hell yeah.
As well as he put me on. One of my favorite writers of all time by introducing me to a book called Scene of a Crime, written by Ed Brubaker.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Great
So,
Yeah.
Is it the Daredevil guy?
He did it around
He
Daredevil,
did.
absolutely.
He has done Daredevil. He also introduced me to Frank Miller, who's a Daredevil
Okay.
guy.
What else has he done? He's been because I
he's
know
done
he did on.
Criminal, he does-
Okay.
he
was
does a
on.
lot of
He did a lot of noir. Yep.
Cap.
Yeah,
he's
'cause
done-
he did.
He did when Cap died, when Bucky was Cap for a bit.
Oh,
That was
okay.
Brubaker.
They had him on How Did This Get Made when they did the Daredevil movie.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
If you never listen to How Did This Get Made, it's a great podcast. I learned a lot about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too when they did that one.
I'm gonna have
Go
to check
Ninja,
that out.
go.
I'm pretty sure. That's where Adam Pally was the guest, and he said he made a bold claim that Vanilla Ice ripped the Go Ninja Go from the New York Knicks, who used to play Go New York, Go New York, Go.
I feel like Go Ninja sounds better. You know? It works, but anyway, continue your story. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I
Oh,
wanted
no. But just
further-
walking in here and just seeing how much they've grown and what this has evolved to. And it was already a great looking shop, but this is like an
It's
ultimate
beautiful.
stop.
I remember what you were talking about though, when it was just the shotgun store. They
Yep.
had a dope setup of figures too. They
Oh,
had
yeah.
statues. I remember they had this Hulk statue for a really long time that was just massive, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you guys, it was crazy. But I remember that this place was actually the first place when I started podcasting. 10 years ago or so, I did a show called Living with My Wife, Batman and Hip Hop. And my very first interview I had ever got was with the owner here. And then years later, I get to come back here and get married by Kevin Smith. And now here we
Yeah.
are fucking doing a little, doing our podcast. It's a great store, man. It has become my new home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I started off at Empire like you, but this has become, I love it. Shout
Absolutely.
out to the store, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to the store.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too is comics is one of those industries, man, where you gotta show some support. You know, when you find a store like I'll be back. Like you gotta show some love because that's as mom and pop as it gets. And you get stores like Empire that is the oldest store in Oklahoma and is
40.
still here. Only because people go in,
Right.
people stop by, And this store, if it's going to continue doing this well, and I'm so glad to see it, it's because you made it your home.
Right.
So if you're looking for a new comic home, we just mentioned 2 stores in Tulsa. You gotta check them out. Come spend a little bit of cash here.
Definitely worth the love. That's the
And
thing.
that sale right now too. That's the best time.
30% back
off.
issue sales, and all the time, guys, you get 30% off all pre-orders and subscriptions. So
God.
What?
definitely,
That's a good
You know what
deal.
I'm saying? We're plugging today, baby.
Yeah.
We're plugging. You know what I'm saying?
Crossover stuff. We have our great friend Cam Porter just opened a
Yeah,
tabletop
Cam.
gaming
Yes,
store
sir.
right down the road.
Yeah, he was a guest 2 episodes back.
Critical
Yeah,
hit.
did you see
Critical
our
hit.
video?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I love talking to Cam Porter. It was a good time. He's also a member of OLA, or was, from what I hear.
Yeah, he did the show.
Yeah,
with
so
Mike.
he and I did a show called Styling and Profiling where we
Nice.
rewatched
a great
all the
name.
pay-per-views from the 80s. So all the WCW and all the
Damn.
WWF pay-per-views like the Starrcade, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, all that stuff, every 80s one we did. And just going match by match, talking about the matches, making fun of everything.
That's a good time.
It was a lot of me talking shit about Vince McMahon. He's
Deserved.
terrible.
Yeah.
Before this podcast, I had no idea you were a pro wrestling fan. I'm a huge pro wrestling nerd. Jules will
So I'm
tell
not
you.
a modern pro wrestling fan.
Same.
Okay.
I like the old school.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm one of those fans that thought, you know what I mean? I love it so much that I want to do it. So eventually I went to school for it and shit like that. You know what I mean? So whenever I met
Yeah.
Cam and found out
I
he
was gonna
also,
say, yeah.
you know, was active
had
in the
stories
wrestling
for each
world.
other. That's
yeah,
cool.
I love wrestling, man. So that's cool that you love it.
He's a good dude too, man.
I wanted to ask you about your love for Carol Danvers, man.
Oh, yeah.
Captain Marvel. We got to talk about
Yeah, I
it.
burn that torch, man. I burn it brightly too, because I know there's pushback. You know? Yeah,
We love pushback.
Yeah, I
Give it to him.
I got into Captain Marvel when Kelly DeConnick got on the book. This is probably right around like 2010, 2011. And it was just a new writer who I'd been into some of her stuff. Her and Matt Fraction both are just real solid writers. And I read a couple issues and I was into it, and and then I just kind of moved on as you do. You read something and you like it, but it's not really your jam yet. And then when the movie came out, I was like, all right, you know what? Let's check it out. And I just love that damn
This
film.
is the one that takes place in the
90s.
Yeah,
It's got de-aged Nick
fucking
Fury.
blockbusters in it, I think.
Yep, yeah. And it's exactly the kind of level, like we were talking earlier about, like that cheesy line, and it's exactly the kind of stuff that I lean into.
Right.
Like there's that dumb moment and there's a big fight at the end and they hit the jukebox and I'm Just a Girl comes on. And I'm like, that is so freaking hokey, but also like, fuck it, shout out to that.
Yeah.
Because hell yeah, man, watch her kick everyone's ass to I'm Just a Girl. I'm down for that.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
And that's great. I feel like other movies pick
First
that up.
concert was No Doubt.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I've
95,
never
baby.
been there. I disagree.
No doubt. That's
Yeah, you're right.
Gwen Stefani, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
No, but I feel like
She used to be in a ska band.
That's true. Sorry, I'm super high, so
You're
I'm
right.
going. But no, I feel like that's a cool thing that other movies pick up, like Deadpool. He would at the beginning listening to some music. Yeah, like in his notes or what's another one? Guardians of the Galaxy when he plays his head.
Guardians, best soundtrack
Right?
Yeah.
in film for me.
I'm playing the
love
game.
So they have some amazing music. I just started the game last night for the Twitch stream.
It's good.
Oh, cool.
So it's pretty decent.
Right.
But they have an incredible soundtrack. But that's one thing I feel. So we're DC biased here. I heard you say you're a Marvel
Oh,
fan,
yeah.
which is great.
But we would like to be put on some good
Marvel books,
stuff.
if you have
Yeah.
suggestions, which I'm sure we'll get into.
Oh yeah.
But DC biased over here. But I will say, by far, the Marvel movies are shitting on DC. And
Yeah.
they
Oh,
have been
yeah.
for such a long time. They
Objectively.
they have the perfect
Without
combination of humor, action, serious moments, heartfelt moments. Like they do it right. They've got the formula. You
And
know
the
what I'm saying?
tie-ins, I think, are beautiful
Writing, writing,
Mm-hmm.
They
It's
and
phenomenal.
acting.
they built
Yeah.
a firm
Wonderful
top-down
cast.
structure with Kevin Feige or Feige.
I think it's Feige.
Feige. Well, we'll get it one day.
I've heard it pronounced Kevin Feige.
Feige. We're gonna follow you then.
Hold on.
Whatever he's doing to keep everyone at least in kinda on the same page. There's mistakes,
Right.
they got to do a little bit of cleanup. That not everyone's always happy. Phase 4 got a lot of grief from people. I loved it, but a lot of people just keep seeing that word mid being thrown around about every new movie. And whatever he's doing though is still keeping that structure coherent enough
Right.
that it moves forward and keeps most of the people on board. DC either was trying to play catch up too late, or they were trying to let people do their own thing while still trying to create cohesion, and it just didn't come out as clean. And it's a
Right.
shame because there's so much talent over there.
Oh, and now that seems like they're just straight like, okay, well, let's just do what Marvel's doing.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like their recent.
That's the relaunch with James Gunn. It's just like that.
Well, and what was it? I don't remember where it was, but they had sort of like the visual of the upcoming releases of their movies,
Yeah.
and it was a carbon copy of the phase releases that Marvel does.
Yeah, the announcement of
into
Gods
it.
and Monsters.
I'm
yeah.
into it,
So
though.
here's my
Yeah,
thing when
yeah.
it comes to the
I'm
DC
for
movies.
it. Let
Right.
them- they got to do it.
regardless, at the end of the day,
Can't get worse.
and it can't.
I love the James
shit,
Gunn
you
stuff,
can't
though. I
stay
will
the
say
same, though.
that Suicide Squad rules.
Yeah,
You like Suicide Squad?
The James Gunn one,
Yeah.
love it.
That's
you
the one
watch-
with Idris, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch
John Cena.
Peacemaker?
Love
Yeah.
Peacemaker. I watched it
Peacemaker's
twice.
amazing.
So
When
good.
when
I
she was going
rewatched
through
it.
the tablet and that
Yes.
vagina popped up, by far the best.
Yeah, my
Best
wife
scene.
and I got we've got 3 Peacemaker Funkos.
Really?
We got
Nice.
Peacemaker, Judo Master, and Vigilante.
Oh,
I
cool.
saw here in their pre-order section, Peacemaker's having his own comic.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I saw
Yeah,
that, yup.
Peacemaker, and then the new Suicide Squad's getting a comic as well. So be on the lookout for those at Impulse Creations, where you get 30% off all pre-orders and subscriptions.
Yeah.
It's like I said though, man. When it comes to the DC films, superhero films in general, bro, I'm a sucker. I'm throwing my wallet, whether it's ass or not. I'm going to go see it. I'm probably going to see it 5 or 6 times, even though it's
Oh,
ass.
yeah.
I've seen Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds a lot.
Dude.
You know what I mean? I don't care. I've seen Daredevil with Ben Affleck a lot. You know
I'm
what I'm
gonna
saying?
still say, man, people gave a shit. Black Adam was solid.
I
haven't watched it yet.
You know, I get. I thought I'd have some.
You thought you had a teammate.
I just finished the Shazam one.
Okay.
And I was about to watch
Shazam was
the-
good.
Yeah.
I didn't see the second one. Is the second one?
Yeah, the second one's not out.
Oh, that's right.
Honestly,
Okay, cool.
the
I think it comes out
kid-
this month.
Shazam was
play-
fun, and I watched it with my family. Maybe that's why I
It's a
enjoyed it
good
more.
family
Because I
movie,
watched
too.
it with my kids. and they
100%.
loved
That
it,
would
yeah.
completely
Yeah.
make sense. You know, being
Right.
with your family, it's a great family movie. I like the kid that played Billy Bats, and I thought he did decent.
Same.
Yeah, I thought he did. I'm a nerd for actors, so like I watch like how the fuck do you do in this
Especially
movie? Like,
Yeah.
kid actors are tough to get.
I think the best one for me ever is fucking Daniel Radcliffe. I enjoy Harry Potter. I'm a big fan of the Harry Potter series. I know
Right
it's
on.
a weird opinion, just random, but I fuck with Potter, man. I like to get Harry with Potter.
Yeah.
You
We
know what I'm saying?
we stopped being embarrassed by the things we liked quite a long time ago, and it's pretty freeing whenever
Yeah.
you're like, I like it what I like.
Yeah.
That's what
exactly.
it's about, man. That's all this shit's about. Just be yourself. Be
Like
happy.
what you like, and let people like stuff too.
It's and I'm glad for it now that you know, like we talked a little bit about like the ubiquity in nerd culture and stuff, and I'm glad that there's a little bit more of an acceptance now in people who are outliers when it comes to interest, and not for us. We're grown men, you know. We
Right.
got thicker skin, but for kids, man, you know,
Definitely.
kids that get unique interests that want to be a little bit outside the norm. If they can find their tribe easier, that's a good thing. So.
So,
Go ahead. You got it.
so we talked about earlier. It was unacceptable to be a nerd, but I feel
Yes, it was.
but I feel like now that we're adults, it's more accepting amongst adults. But do you think children, like you were saying, need to be accepted as well? Because I feel like children still get made fun of.
Oh,
of
they do.
Anime and all that extra stuff, while as us as adults can have this type of conversation right here.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you think that comes from? Like, why is that stigma still lingering
Joel's
from?
becoming with the substance.
I need-
So
I
mean,
just
to
need
be
to
fair,
know,
I
man.
think it's
Gotta get deep.
I think it's improving. I
Yeah.
will say, like like my son and his friends, it seems that bullying is still there, but it's different. It's over different things. It's not like. It's not like, oh, you wear glasses,
Yeah.
or like you got high water jeans on, or you know what I mean. It's
Well, and I think he's got maybe even more community that he can still lean on. Whereas growing up, we may not have had as many people in our circle.
and like you said, this generation has a lot better access to a community of acceptance with things like the internet and even podcasts.
Yeah.
You know, you have that thing you're into like My Hero Academia,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah. Good,
right?
Good reading that book
Nice.
behind Castro. There.
Thank you. And, there's probably a podcast about it where you can get deep into the lore and you can really nerd out and love it. And there's a bunch of people who also do the same. So I think they have benefits to finding more support and
I
better.
agree.
But it's still there. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever going away. Teenagers are just fucking mean.
Yeah.
Kids are mean.
I do want to echo though on what you said. I do feel like there is a community for everything these days.
Yeah.
If you like something, man, there's-
Specific interests,
yeah,
absolutely.
there's somebody. This is the niche era. Like if you like something, somebody else does. And You
Yeah.
guys are gonna fucking you know.
Well, and I
bug
think it was
about
always like that, but they couldn't find each other
Right.
as easy.
Yeah.
You know,
You know,
Like,
even-
especially in the '90s, we didn't have the internet.
Yeah.
It was just whoever was in your town, and you might only find 5 people in your town that like the same shit you do.
Yeah.
and you
If-
all eat lunch together.
And you can even find the shit
Yeah.
you like in your town. Like, you know, growing up, like, there were places I lived where I had access to comic books, and there were places I lived where I didn't have access.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I was living in Tulsa in my 20s that I was even a regular reader. 'Cause
Really?
I still had the ability
'Cause it
and
wasn't
interest and
as hard to
accessibility.
find, yeah.
Yeah. But, like, I grew up in a lot of small towns in New Jersey, and a comic shop, that was like 4 towns over. Mom wouldn't drive me to that comic shop.
It was that way with music too. You have to search it out a lot harder back in the day than you do now. You know, it's a lot easier to find the people that like your music too.
Yeah,
Right.
you had to live off the radio growing
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
I think that I'm a big fan of. I talk about it all the time. The thrill of the hunt, right? When I go into a store, or as you went into Impulse and you found that
Look for Captain Marvel.
Captain
Yup.
Marvel or something. When you can get your hands on it, it's such a rush. But maybe even more so back then because it wasn't as accessible, right?
Oh,
you
yeah.
go in and you find that thing that you've been looking for. You find that music store that you know what I'm saying? Like it's more of a rush, you know. So I think that's pretty cool. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go ahead and segue here.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's time we goddamn did a whole hour of shooting the shit, and I love that. And I feel like if I don't change the pace, I'm gonna continue to just
Hey,
have
we
us
do that.
riff.
I was gonna say we could do this for hours.
Right.
My man Jules here did bring some figures. He did.
I
bust
keep
open
looking over at them,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah,
how
it's
can
like-
I
You
get
wanna
my
open this
fingers
one?
on?
I can-
If you guys want to open,
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Now you guys, one of
like
y'all
it's-
take one. If you don't take one, I'm.
so
I have destructive hands.
for sure. So I do want to go into this a little bit. I only know a little bit about this particular figure. I don't quite know my man. He came
Nice.
prepared, so we can just
I
slice
see they
these
have
perfect.
some over there. I'm gonna go check
Some
out
of the
after this.
Titans?
Oh, I'm not sure if it's Titans, but I know
I
it's
gotta
DC.
say. So, ladies and gentlemen, my boy Jules has finally copped his first figures. He is starting the figure collector, craze, ladies and gentlemen. So this one right here, Todd McFarlane actually just released these. I think there's 4 characters in it. You got Beast Boy, you got Raven. I don't remember the other 2.
I think I saw a Cyborg.
Cyborg,
Okay.
and one other character. I don't know who she is, but we're gonna go ahead and
Starfire?
bust these open. And then
That
this
seems like a
one,
safe guess.
Yeah.
my man picked up a nice Joker, Infinite Frontier. I don't quite know about this one as much when it was released or anything, but it's out. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jules for his first pick.
They had some really good stuff there, man. They
Rock,
had
I use
some.
your knife.
Yeah, do it.
Where'd you go?
It was Walmart in Sand Springs.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. So do you guys collect figures or anything like that?
I do the Funko Pops.
Oh yes,
yeah.
you told me.
Man.
What would you say your most prized Funko Pop is? The one you're most not necessarily on a financial tip, but that you're happiest to have. That gives you that feeling of like this is
That's
awesome.
a tough one. Probably Prison Mike from The Office.
Oh,
Nice,
that's
nice.
nice.
So my
I'm a big fan of The Office.
My
man.
collection
Same.
is probably 60% The Office.
Really?
I have like 4 shelves that are all just The Office.
So you're a
Who's your
big
favorite
Office
character?
fan.
I gotta know. Who's your favorite character?
I mean Michael Scott.
yeah.
Yeah.
Me and the wife
Steve
are currently-
Carell is just a king.
Yeah, Dwight saved it after Michael left, but
100.
Yeah.
it went downhill.
So I still loved it. Me and the wife are currently watching
Oh,
it
I still
on,
do, too.
Yeah, me and the wife are currently watching it on Peacock right now. And
Are you
they got
watching the super fan episodes? Those are great.
They're amazing.
I didn't think there was stuff that I hadn't seen yet.
Well, I'm going to throw this in there because we've been talking about podcasts, and I do have a little podcast
Oh,
all about
yeah?
The Office.
So that's you. Okay,
That
so I
is me.
saw that on the OLA website, OLA Ministries. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can check that out.
Praise be. Praise be.
True indeed, true indeed.
Our second show, the People Persons Paper podcast, has been recorded for about 5 years now. We only have our season 5 episodes online right now, but we have all of season 5 from weight loss through company picnic. And we've got a lot of guests from our community, including Zampino, Josh Baltz, Brett and Hannah Jeffries. And it's hosted by me and my good buddy Brian Sittler. So definitely check that out as well.
Brett Jeffries, stand-up comedian, right?
Yeah, she's a host of the Starlight Open Mic and a
Yeah.
comic here in town.
And she also does the Riff Show,
Yeah,
My
the
wife
Riff
is
Show.
on
which is
that
super
coming
fun.
up.
Super
Yeah,
fun.
that's
If
a
you've
great
never
show.
gone to that show or been on it, the premise is there's a bunch of subjects
Dude,
in
you
a
did so much better.
in a
This
hat.
one.
Yeah,
I'll
I got
watch
you.
this one.
And you pull a subject out, and then you riff on it for a couple minutes, ad lib style, and try and do like improv
Yeah, it's
stand-up,
just
essentially.
2 minutes improv, really.
That sounds fun. This sounds fun. So the fact that you have an office podcast, ladies and gentlemen,
That looks
Joker,
so good.
Infinite Frontier.
So
figure.
good.
I like the hair, the detailing on
Who's
the
it?
face.
Oh, is that the Infinite Frontier?
It's pretty
Okay.
decent, as well as the suit. I love the coloring on the suit.
Right.
It's very
I wonder if
bright
you can
and
do
vibrant.
this.
The hair looks like some wind
There's a knife too.
blew the back.
Nice.
Yeah, because I'm reading, of course, some Joker issues.
Is that the Joker book?
Yeah, so
The Man Who Stopped.
The Man Who
Laughing.
Stopped
Oh,
Laughing.
okay, yeah, okay.
And then,
Going currently.
oh my goodness, what's the other one? Of course, Batman and Joker Deadly Duo.
Yep.
I was reading Puzzle Box, but I kind of got left behind, so
Okay.
I may have to pick up the graphic novel.
That Batman and Joker Deadly Duo is good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Have you read it?
Except for the current issue, the most recent one.
Yes. Okay. So you read the part where Joker was throwing off the fat people at the.
Yep.
So really quick, gentlemen.
Throwing
let
off
me go
the
ahead.
fat
He
people?
was throwing off. So
Fat
they had the
Joker body shaming people.
Right, they were on this train and they had to get it to a certain weight, and Batman would start burning shit, throwing stuff out, and they run in there. He's throwing people off.
Yeah, but they're trying to get if the train's too heavy.
Yeah.
And Batman's like, no one's gonna die, so they're burning stuff, they're throwing off luggage, and Joker just grabs the guy, chucks him.
Yeah, and they hit the
Bye-bye.
weight. He was like, "Yeah, I told you I was helping."
See, I haven't got to check out the Deadly Duo yet.
Oh,
I
it's
guess I need
great,
to
man.
peep it.
The whole thing is there's a crime that Joker's the victim of, and he turns to Batman for help. Mm-hmm. So Batman and Joker are working together to solve a crime, and it's going about as bad as you.
Yeah, and there's like 5 sentient Jokers.
Jokers,
Yeah.
right? You told me about
Yeah,
it, but there's like
and it can
imposters.
grow. Yeah, like this DNA is so advanced, a tooth can grow into a new Joker.
Yeah.
Really quick, gentlemen.
What?
Let
Yeah.
me,
Real
let me
lot of
show
body
off this
gore and
Beast
stuff.
Boy figure.
Yes,
here.
do that.
You know what I'm saying? My only beef with this figure is like his face is.
Oh yeah.
Really?
I don't
I'm digging
like
the face, man.
You like that?
Yeah.
It's a little weird to me.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the whole thing, I mean, it kind of reminds me of a very much like a 60s comic look for him. You know, it definitely
like
looks a little
the New
stylized.
Teen Titans or whatever.
Yup,
the book
yeah, like
was,
they're in the Marv Wolfman, George
yes,
Perez
sir.
era.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Did you ever read Judas Contract?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
had
a
all.
solid
I
one.
had all 4 issues.
I
some
haven't
years ago,
read
back
it
when
yet.
Okay.
Back in the day when I first started collecting, I had the whole Judas Contract issues. I think it was 1 through 4. Back when I years ago. It doesn't matter when. Different times for me. But anyway, they're gone now.
Yeah, that's a good book, though. That's good stuff with a lot
True
of
indeed.
with Terra joining the team and the whole plan with her and Deathstroke.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if you noticed this, but it appears that Joker has cutted his own eyeball out and is holding it over here
Oh,
to
that-
show you
that's what that
he
is.
is
Oh, wow.
a psychopath.
So
That's
is pretty
gangster.
brutal. Great
Oh
point
wow.
I thought it was like a gumball. I was like, why does he have a gumball?
It's his,
that-
I think it's his own eyeball.
Yeah, no, I think
That's
you're
so
right.
cool.
So I wanted to ask you, Hilton, what are you currently reading, man? What would you suggest to the viewers? And then we're going to talk about our books a little bit, and I want you to tell us a little bit about the co-eating camp.
Oh, yeah,
if you
for
don't
sure.
mind. So let's start with you, Hilton. What are you currently reading? What should people be reading?
Well, like I said, TMNT is always on the pull list for me, as well as the current crossover, the Armageddon game. I'm reading
Nice.
that. The best single issue comic on the stands at any given time is always Stan Sakai's Usagi Yojimbo. I will take that to my grave.
Okay.
If I sent a comic book reader into a store and I said, you only got money for one book, you've never read a comic in your life, go grab an Usagi Yojimbo.
So I haven't even heard of this. I think you asked me to read a little bit of it. I didn't get to.
Yeah, no worries. It's been around for about 20, 30 years at this point. Sakai, it's old retellings of a lot of Japanese folklore, told in a more in modern language with anthropomorphic animal characters.
That's awesome.
So Usagi Yojimbo is a rabbit, a giant rabbit, but like a person, like a humanoid, walks on his legs or whatever.
Like a Howard the Duck.
Like a Howard the Duck, if you will. Yeah, we talk about Howard the Duck pretty frequently on our show. So you wanna hear
Best
that,
movie ever.
But Usagi is a Ronin. He used to be a samurai in service to a lord, and when that lord lost, he was set free, and now he just wanders helping people and occasionally trying to stay out of trouble. And it's just good lessons of good versus evil and helping people in need, and he's just a standard kind of wandering samurai figure who is, he's never quite beaten, but sometimes, you worry a little bit, more modern examples like Afro Samurai, like
Yeah.
Lone Wolf and Cub.
There's some Afro Samurai over there that I was going to check out.
Man, I had never read any of that. That cartoon was awesome. awesome.
Amazing.
So good.
Oh yeah, I was confused because I didn't know if that ran with the actual cartoon, but if
I don't know, honestly.
another one,
Yeah, I
I may
haven't
pick
checked
it
it
up.
Yeah.
This is another one.
But Usagi's great, man, and that's the only real indie or indie-ish kind of thing I'm reading.
Nice.
To get back into the big two over on DC, I'm a Batman guy through and through.
As you should be.
Right? I mean,
As you should.
We agree.
and that current run, man, with Chip Zdarsky,
It's
has been
great.
so good.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about it. I've recently just read the most recent issue or whatever.
Yep, I read that this morning.
Yeah, pretty great. He's in a new universe or whatever.
Yeah.
Trying to basically be Batman in a city that either Batman didn't exist or he's not there now.
Yeah, we know. Is it cool to get into spoilers on the current issue?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
We know in the current issue that we have at least found the body of a deceased Bruce Wayne in this world that may or may not be originally from that world.
Right.
Now, our Bruce Wayne has already assumed the mantle of Batman again. They kind of skimmed over like how exactly he got, where did he make a cowl, how did he get any tech, but he's Bruce, so we know we can just trust him. That's his thing.
It's pretty good. Have you read the
You
issues
should
previous?
implicitly
Yeah.
trust billionaires.
There's one. There's
Okay,
one billionaire I
for one,
explicitly
okay.
trust.
Fair enough.
Maybe two if you put Tony Stark in there. But I've been reading. I jumped back on during the last couple arcs of James Tynion's run.
Nice.
When it was whatever the city was. It was Simon Saint was sending his team against the city or whatever. And then I've stayed on with Zdarsky, and Zdarsky is killing it.
He's doing great. I'm enjoying it. One of the most recent issues dealing with failsafe or
Yeah,
whatever.
that was such a good villain.
He is, and he's gonna come back. Obviously, you know what I mean. Because right now we're just in this other universe, but because of failsafe, Batman fell from space, and then some shit happened, and now he's in another world or whatever. So,
What'd you think of the Fallen from Space?
so I thought that was dope. The
Right?
fact that Bruce Wayne can fall from space and still survive, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. Is incredible, and the way he handled it like Batman would. He made it make sense, right?
Yep.
He used some. It makes sense,
right? But in that world,
yeah, exactly.
he would have fried like a potato chip in
Right.
the real world. We can admit that.
I think
But-
he used parts from a piece from the ship,
Yep.
right? He ripped off a piece from the ship, and he had this button he kept hitting to slow him down and get him at the right speed so he doesn't catch fire or whatever.
Yeah, he was using
You
the
know what I'm
thrusters
saying?
in reverse or whatever. Yeah.
Fucking fire, bro. He made it, landed.
Takes the trunks, puts them over his face because that's heat resistant,
Yeah.
so his face doesn't burn up.
He's the best.
You know who else
superhero
would have
ever.
survived?
Who?
Black Panther.
No, my man thinks Black Panther could beat up Bruce Wayne,
He
man.
can be. He can.
I mean, it's there's
One
a
of
good.
those-
there's
He's a Marvel guy, so now he has to
One of
agree
those
with
two
me.
There's a
people
good
has
reason they ain't fought. You know,
What did you say?
I said one of those two people has superpowers.
That is true.
that's true. Yeah, Black Panther's got.
But
the,
hey,
got the heart-shaped
to
herb.
assume the position is Black Panther, the powers get taken away, so he can fight for real.
Yeah,
So I'm not
I feel
saying.
He
like
can throw.
he's got tech. He's got training.
my thing is, bro. Look, I maybe
Batman just has the tech. I mean, he's got the
He has the
initial
training.
initial fight, right? I feel like Black Panther could beat Batman, but the second fight when Bruce Wayne comes back with a plan and a strategy, like you've done.
I was telling him, Batman always needs a plan. Nobody else plans for Batman.
He has to plan.
Batman
He's
plans
in
for
a
everybody.
world.
That's not fair. That's not. How do I know I'm gonna fight the Bat today? But he knows he's gonna
He
whip
knows
my
he's gonna
ass.
fight you, and that's why he's better. That's why he's him.
that today.
So the Chip Zdarsky, I think is how you say his
Yeah,
last name.
I think so. That's what I've
Run
been
on
going with.
Batman has been pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Have you been following the Lazarus Planet stuff at
Yeah.
all? Or-
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, just wrap that up. I haven't read the one that you haven't either. That Batman and Robin 5, which is like
Okay.
an epilogue.
I'm on Legends Reborn, and
Okay.
no spoilers for those ones if you don't mind.
Yeah,
please.
sure. That was an interesting project to me
The
because
Batman and Robin?
no, the whole thing, how Batman and Robin, or Batman versus Robin, went into Lazarus
what it
Planet
is.
Alpha, and then went into this group of like mini story
Yeah,
collections.
which I thought was really cool though.
Yeah, it was kind of like they like in Lazarus Planet Alpha, you see what happens to the Lazarus pits that put this cloud in the sky and the Lazarus rains come down. And then you get like 5 books that are all just little short stories about like
Right.
who the rain hits, what it does to them, so on and so forth. You know,
I'm really enjoying what's going on with Supergirl right now, Power Girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
How she can
she's telepathic.
telepathic. I liked you read or Or did you read
Action Comics 1051?
1051.
Yeah.
And I just read 1052. I don't know if you've got that.
Yeah, I got that too. Yeah.
You know, the fact that she's kind of a therapist right now and helping out her superhero friends. But I loved when Nightwing showed up. I always love when you get special guest appearances. It excites the fuck out of me. But Nightwing shows up with Garfield. Shout out to this action figure here on the table. And he's having some issues. He's stuck in a goat form, I think it is.
Yep.
And he can't talk anymore. So she dives into his brain and has to fight like his... what is it? Red. I don't remember. Anyway,
I think it's like Beast.
Red Beast to help him get his power back or to reconnect, and it's just cool to see her do that. And then in 1052, Kara shows up.
Yep.
I think, and I thought this was Kara the whole time. I'm not gonna lie, guys. So I don't know who this Supergirl is.
I forget. We don't have an issue here, do we? I mean, we do somewhere.
No, I don't. Not on me.
But
Not
yeah,
on me.
no,
It's at home in the box.
But yeah,
I am not the one to ask.
I'm looking at you.
I
Like,
was like, I don't know.
But
I'm trying to think of who else showed up.
I think it was pretty cool to jump into Kara's mind. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying that part of it. I'm enjoying the mini Supermans. I'm not a Superman fan like that, but I've been enjoying getting to know them. You know what I mean? The rest of the Super family and stuff.
Yeah.
It's been cool.
Yeah, that.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I think after this Adventures of John Kent, it goes into, I think, Doom Patrol. So it gives you a little bit of other people to look forward to as well.
Nice.
Cool.
What were you gonna say?
Oh yeah, the action being on 1051 and kind of having that new story initiative where they're more focused on the super family. Meanwhile, having that
Super
new
fam.
please. Meanwhile, that Superman #1 that just came out like 2 weeks ago, it seemed like the right time. So I jumped on them both and almost down them for a bit, just
For
because
sure.
I haven't been reading Superman for a while, and especially they're both good books, but that Superman #1 is.
See, I haven't checked out Superman #1 yet. I just checked out the Adventures. I think it is.
The John Kent
John-
#1?
John
Yeah.
Kent
Cool.
#1, and I'm
just picked
enjoying
that up.
John Kent. He's
Good.
cool. I haven't spent much time with the guy, so
Yeah.
to get to learn, I'm kind of learning a lot of these newer characters, even though they've been around. You know, John Kent's been around and things like. But it's cool to spend some time and get to know the kid. He's pretty cool. So,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I jumped on right before everything kind of hit a new reset with this 1051 with Superman 1 and with Adventures of John Kent. They did a crossover between Action Comics starting around 1047 or so and Superman Son of Kal-El, which was the
Nice.
17-issue series that had John first as an adult. And during the last couple issues of that and leading up to 1051 in Action, they did a crossover which was all about Superman coming back from Warworld. And that's where I jumped back on. And I was like, all right, you know, he's back from Warworld now. We've got the new sun in the mix. Now it's time for me to learn a little bit about Superman.
Nice. Yeah.
And that was a pretty good place to start. And I think especially now with 1051 and #1, for anyone watching who wants to jump on, this is where you got
I was just thinking
I've said this
War World 2.
Well, that's like,
That's
you know,
dumb. I
Warworld is a lot like playing just a girl when you're fighting someone and you're a girl. It's
Pretty on the nose.
Yeah, what do you do there? We war, you know. But that's all been. It's been a really good time to jump on a
I
Superman
agree.
book.
I'm enjoying it. I'm really excited for this Dawn of DC shit.
Yeah, we're getting
you
a bunch of new #1s
We
too.
are.
Yeah.
We are. I'm ready for Batman. I hate that we have to wait around for Batman because obviously I'm a Batman geek, so like I'm waiting on that book. But
Yeah.
it's been good. I enjoyed, like we talked a little bit about the Batman and Batman versus Robin. You read those?
Yeah, except for the #5. I haven't read
Okay,
that
yeah,
yet. But
still trying to get on that, but I enjoyed that whole storyline. Seeing Batman take on all the Robins, I thought was really interesting,
cool.
really,
Really cool.
dope. It was cool to get to hear kind of their inner feelings towards Bruce Wayne. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Towards how he raised him and shit like that. What is it? Tim Drake talking about like you basically.
Yeah, he felt like he was abandoned, or he wasn't cared for as much as the other Robins.
Hearing Damian bring up several times like you're basically a weirdo because you use your trauma and you take these children and you put it on them so you don't have to deal with it. I'm like, that's dark, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's very dark. So I enjoyed the hell out of that. This is just what I read this week, so I'm kind of
Yeah,
throwing
sure.
it out. Feel free to chime in, guys, whatever you read. It was
I got
good.
thrown off. I saw over here they have Armor Wars, which I thought was the Amery Wars, which is the Coheed comics.
So let's go ahead and segue into that, man. I found out this week, man, jumped in a group chat with these guys on yesterday about the Amery Wars, right?
Yeah,
The
it's called the
Amery Wars.
Amery Wars. It's from Boom Comics.
Yeah.
Nice. They
puts
do
it out.
Planet of the Apes. They
Yeah.
did Planet of the Apes. I'm a big Planet of the Apes fan.
So if you came up in the early 2000s sort of emo scene, you've heard of Coheed and Cambria. They kind of got lumped into that category, but they were very, very different from all the other bands in that they are a concept band. You'll have like concept albums, but they're a concept band, where Coheed and Cambria are two characters in the Amery Wars. And my favorite thing about the juxtaposition of the comics, the stories, and the music is people hear the music and they're like, oh, it's kind of poppy and it's kind of, this. But the story, very much not. It starts hard and dark.
I like it.
I mean,
Hard and
to
dark.
just give you like an example of the beginning, because it's not really like spoilers for the whole story. Coheed and Cambria are this couple, and they have these children, Josephine and I forgot the other one's name. Anyways, so they have 3 kids. No, sorry, they have 4 kids total. There's 2 younger ones, 2 older ones. It starts with the antagonist of the story essentially tricking them into murdering the 2 youngest of their own children.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
dark. Immediate.
Yeah, and they are essentially like, they are weapons, but people, and sort of a Manchurian Candidate almost
Yeah,
way.
like kind of a bioorganic.
Yeah, but they're not really aware, and they don't have memory of it until
It ramps up into a pretty hardcore sci-fi political war drama.
Yeah.
Pretty quick.
yeah.
And it's wild, and it's got most of the writing is Claudio, right?
Claudio, which is the singer of Coheed and Cambria.
Nice.
So yeah, it's his story, and most of the songs, or all the songs and albums, basically coincide and are telling the story alongside the comic books. It starts with Second Stage Turbine Blade. Essentially, they'll put out a bunch of issues, and then they will combine them into like a hardback version, which will cover like one entire album. So like Second Stage Turbine Blade, Good Apollo, and Burning Star 4, Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3. So yeah, Second Stage, Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth, Good Apollo, and Burning Star 4. Those 3 all I know have hardback compilations, and then a lot of the other stuff is just single issues.
So, the compilations, they go with the album? Is what
They all
They
do,
go hand in
but
hand?
essentially like the single issues will be part of the album. There's several Second Stage Turbine Blade issues, but then there's the hardback, which is all of them put together in one
So is
instead of the single.
Is it like a collected series like it is for normal comics?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
there's several
Yes.
volumes that collect.
who does
probably
the art on this?
A variety of
Yeah,
artists.
there's a bunch
several.
of different artists.
I'd love to.
And
check
it gets
some of that
wild
out.
too. Like in Good Apollo, there's a demonic 10-speed bike.
Okay.
That's pretty rad.
That's dope.
It's really crazy. One of the characters is named Claudio, so it kind of follows him. But then, then they tell this big story, and then there's the Afterman, which is like a prequel, which is like they live in this series of planets that's connected by this unknown energy called the Keywork. And the Afterman is about this scientist who discovered the Keywork, and basically started his name is Cyrus Amery, and he started the Amery Wars.
That sounds
And
dope.
then now they're on a new series called Vaxis, which takes place after the story of Coheed
So this
and
stuff
Cambria.
is ongoing. They're still
Yeah,
working.
still going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some
right now
issues.
they're on volume 2 of Vaxis, which is going to be a 5-album series. And I have no idea how many volumes that'll end up being on the comics, but
Yeah.
right now we're on the 2nd album. And they're also just a band that has had a really interesting progression as far as their
I was
style.
telling you off air, the first time I had heard them was with that, what is it, Welcome Home?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
on,
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero, I brought this up.
It's their
a while
most
back.
famous song for sure.
Yeah, Guitar Hero introduced me to so much music. And I feel like a whole generation of music that a lot of kids didn't know about.
Yeah, if you dive
Yeah.
deeper into the lyrics of that song, it's pretty wild.
Is it?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
pretty
have to
wild.
Go back and check them out. I want to see about getting Amery Wars as
Great
well.
live shows. Great live shows, too, from
Really?
Cody and Cambria. Absolutely.
And we're talking about artists. I did a quick Google, and one name that I can mention is Rags Morales, who DC fans will know. He was the artist for Identity Crisis, written by Brad Meltzer. He was also a Justice League artist.
Oh, he
for a
did
little
some of the
while.
Amery Wars
That's
stuff?
dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Oh, right on.
I wonder who else they had. I wonder if they had, you know what I'm saying, a few different big
There's
names. if you
several different styles. I remember when reading through
Yeah.
it. So one nice thing about it is you get a lot of variety and kind of different artist takes on that.
That's
world.
fun in the hardback, you know.
Yeah.
What are those called? The series collection?
collections,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
And the collection is as you're essentially reading this one long story, the art changes. So it's very cool.
I feel like that it would add to the experience.
It really
you know what I'm
does.
saying?
It does. Yeah, I really like getting those hardbacks, man. It's very
Yeah.
satisfying.
I'm gonna have to pick something up. I'm gonna have to check them out.
Yeah.
Like I said, I hadn't heard about it until you guys, man. So I appreciate y'all sharing that.
Yeah,
with me.
sure.
Gentlemen, we've enjoyed the fuck out
It's
of our
been
experience
awesome.
here.
Yeah,
It's
thanks
been
so much for
dope.
having us.
Oh,
It was
cool.
a lot of
You know what I'm
fun.
saying? Of course, we'd love to have you guys back sometime soon.
Anytime.
And in a couple weeks, we're going to have you guys out at our place
Yes.
with some
Yep.
opinions like a-holes.
Stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen. You guys will see us post about it on the on our socials and shit.
Yes.
This will be out this Friday,
see you
so
there.
we'll be dropping this. Am I forgetting anything today? Were we supposed to go over anything?
I mean, Last of Us, but
The Last of Us
Yeah.
episode. You guys watching The Last of Us, bro?
I'm not.
I
You're
am.
not. All right. Are you going to watch it?
Eventually, yeah.
So I don't
You
wanna
should.
spoil
It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
worth
wanna
it.
Spoil it. We'll save
Definitely
it.
worth
it was good.
You know what I mean?
I
good.
came in not really knowing a ton about the game.
Okay.
And I knew a
game is
little.
beautiful.
I knew a little bit about the game, but I
Yeah.
knew
How old's your kid?
my oldest is 16, my youngest is 6.
Do
about to
they
be
play
7.
games?
A little. My son plays. He plays some, but he doesn't play. He plays like Switch, and he plays
Okay, for sure.
Genshin Impact and stuff like
Nice,
that.
nice. So you're liking the series, though?
Oh, I
the
love it.
TV
I think
show.
it's fucking great.
I think we're about to hit the last episode
Tonight or tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, as we're recording this.
Yeah.
So as this episode's out, you can now binge all 9 episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
So next week, kids, we'll be talking
Yeah.
about this episode that just came out, and then the finale or whatever.
Yeah.
You'll get some of that from me and Jules, ladies and gentlemen. I think the show's been phenomenal.
Thanks, guys.
It's been beautiful. Of course, man. We had a great time with you guys. Looking forward to hanging out with you guys again soon, as well as
Yeah,
coming over
for
to your
sure.
show and
Absolutely.
you know what I mean, doing the same thing, chopping it up, and just having a good ass fucking time.
Hell yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Hilton Price, Michael Zampino, Opinions Like A-Holes. Check them out. Do you guys want to plug up your socials and shit? Or?
Yeah, you can find him on Instagram, Facebook.
Well, you could find me on Instagram until someone shut that shit
Son
down.
of a bitch.
Too many weed pictures.
That'll get you.
But no, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. I'm Childish Zampino. You could also follow my
Fire
other.
name,
great
bro.
fucking-
That
Thank
is
you so
lit.
much, Childish Zampino.
Lit.
And then, of course, I have another podcast where I talk about politics. It is sort of the left-wing answer to Newsmax, so we called it Maximum News. You can check that out. It's me and my friend TJ Clark. They are an amazing co-host, and I'm very glad to have them on board. And then, follow us there. OLAministries.com is, of course, the landing page for all of our shows. You can find all of them there. If you're on, like, Spotify or Stitcher or whatever, you should be able to just search OLA Ministries, and it'll bring up all of our shows. We got Opinions Like A-Holes, Silent and Profile, and People Persons Paper Podcast, Maximum News. We got Binge with Terrell Norton. We got
Okay Geek, Stories with Mom.
Podcasting to Perfection.
That's
with, that's the one where they're going movie by movie through the Tremors franchise.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a
Pretty
fun one.
cool.
Yeah, if you want to nerd out about the weird Tremors movies, that's the one to go to. I'm about to watch Tremors 5. Is the one that and I love it because I'm going in with zero context. And I'm going to take my notes as if I am reviewing a movie that has no prequels, no sequels. It is a standalone movie to
That's
me,
fine.
and I'm going to see how that affects
be
the
wild.
viewing experience.
Hell yeah.
That and maybe some mushrooms.
Hilton?
You can find me. You search Hilton Price on your social medias. You're going to probably find me. You search Hilton. I'm the one that's not the blonde heiress.
Or the hotel.
Right, exactly. And then, man, I'm just going to give a shout out for the store again, man. You guys got to come stop by Impulse
Yeah.
Creations.
Yes, sir.
I'm so glad
So
I'm here
great.
today. We'll spend some money when we get done.
Yeah.
It's so well organized.
Right, yeah.
That's what I am very impressed by that.
It's a beautiful story, man.
Yeah.
It definitely is, man. Well, you guys be sure to check them out. Jules?
Yeah, just check out Socks on or Off podcast.
True
May your
indeed.
pain be champagne, guys.
True indeed. Y'all know what it is. King Castro X, Comic Cons podcast. You guys can find us on Facebook and Instagram. YouTube. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for rocking with us today. Ladies
you
and
guys.
gentlemen. I keep saying ladies and gentlemen,
That's
like
okay.
just repeat it. Like, what the hell?
happens.
They know.
Hashtag get the cons in the comment. It's been a brilliant episode. Thank you guys so much. Oh, also shout out Hilton, man. He brought me a gift today. I didn't really get to talk about this at all.
That's all right.
For those of you at home, I'm sure you guys already know, but if you don't, I'm a humongous Kevin Smith fan. He's the whole reason I started podcasting many moons ago. Dude's my biggest influence. My man Hilton gifted me this book today, Tales from Clerks, the complete collection of comic stories. So I'm really looking forward to getting into this, man. I'm really hype. I think it's beautiful book.
Man.
The artwork's incredible.
I'm glad it's going to a good home, man. That's always been my thing about comics is when you get done with them, if you're not saving them for something, make sure they
Right.
find their next home.
Definitely, I feel the same way. As I told you earlier, when I first got into comics, Kenny from the Empire had gifted me.
Yeah, the box.
The box. That's very much what it's about for me, man. If you have a good story, share it with your friends when you fucking finish it. Unless you're gonna read it again later. But
I got a
which
few of
do-
those.
Yeah, I do sometimes. Preacher's one I keep going back to. I'm a huge Preacher fan. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Y'all know what it is. Comic Cons podcast. Have a wonderful day. All of that good shit.